Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to take you along on my very first group ride. I met up with a bunch of folks from the NYC Onewheel Telegram group. We rode from Prospect Park in Brooklyn all the way down to Coney Island, then back up along the water under the Verrazano Bridge. Let's check it out. Hey, good morning. So it's the middle of March and I'm on the way to Brooklyn for my first Onewheel group ride. Pretty excited. This is the first time I've ever actually met up with a group of people. We're going to meet up at Prospect Park at noon, ride down to Coney Island, hang out there for a bit, then recharge, head back up. So we should have sunny skies. Should be a good time. Pretty excited. Alright, so we're in Brooklyn and I got a spot right by the park. Quick intro just in case you've never heard of a Onewheel. It's an electric self-balancing device and it kind of reads your mind. The way it works is when you're standing on it, it balances itself, but when you lean forward it goes faster, and when you lean back it slows down or goes backwards, and this causes it to feel like an extension of your body. It's really an incredible experience. The ride has started. I got our first member, Tom, here. Tom's just got like 100 miles on his Onewheel, so this is his first group ride. Ah, there we go, nice and smooth.
JJ, what do you got, the Burrs?
That fellow doing circles there is JJ. He's actually the one that organized this whole ride, so hats off to him for putting this together. We're still waiting for a few people to show up at this point, so we figured we'd take a lap around the park, get everybody warmed up, and give everyone a chance to meet up with us so we could all leave as one group from Prospect Park. Alright, we're getting ready to head out here. First group ride. Now that everybody's here, we're going to leave Prospect Park and head off to Coney Island. Before we do, I just want to put a plug in for Prospect Park. It's a beautiful location right in the center of Brooklyn. Great place to spend the day walking, riding, or just hanging out with the family and enjoying the weather. Alright, so we're on Ocean Parkway. Parkway? Ocean Avenue, all the way down to Coney Island. We got about 12 people riding with us. Everybody's in front right now. One of the fun things about a Onewheel is that there's a huge variety of aftermarket parts you can get to customize your board and really make it your own. So people treat these things like their babies. You see a lot of their personality coming out in the boards. They'll put different fenders, different color side pieces, different plates on the bottom to protect the board, even flight fins for jumping. At this point in the ride, we're heading down Ocean Parkway in Brooklyn, and we've made it to this protected bike lane. This is a really nice place to ride because the entire length of this road, all the way down south to Coney Island, there's a completely separate lane where you don't have to worry about cars or automobile traffic. This is really what the heart of the Onewheel experience is for me, just moving through time and space on this magical board that turns your thoughts into action. It's hard to describe. Wow, we've got some beautiful weather for this. It's the middle of March, it's probably 60 degrees out. No wind, sunny skies. Beautiful. Look at this. We were incredibly fortunate with the weather for this ride. This is the beginning of March in New York State. Normally that's a pretty chilly time of year, so it was really great to be able to get out of the house and spend the entire day outside without having to be all bundled up. This is it. Coney Island.
And there's not that many people.
Yeah. Are we like not supposed to ride here? I didn't see a sign.
I did not see a sign.
There's no signs.
Yeah.
But like,
and obviously we'll be respectful because I'm trying to ride the Onewheel everywhere.
Despite having grown up less than 50 miles from Coney Island, I've never actually been there until this ride. It was really cool to see the boardwalk. It's one of those iconic places that you kind of grow up hearing about, and you got the roller coasters and the rides. It's one of those places that you kind of feel like you want to try to see at least once in your life if you can. It's of course home to the world famous Nathan's Hot Dogs and the location for the annual Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest. You may have noticed that a lot of the buildings and restaurants are shuttered. That's because this is still early March, so there's not a lot of people on the boardwalk. But that makes for a good opportunity to go riding. And after all, this is a Onewheel group ride, so that works out for us. Wonder Wheel. At this point in the day, we've been out for a couple of hours. People are starting to look for something to eat. So we've actually split up into two groups. One group went looking for a place to charge and a good spot to grab some food. The other group just wanted to spend some time cruising the boardwalk, taking in the sights, the beautiful sun and the fresh salt air. I'll give you two guesses which group I was a part of. After a little while cruising the boardwalk, we met back up with the other group, and it turns out they found a great place to charge and grab a bite to eat. Here's what it looks like when you hypercharge 11 Onewheels.
pretty sure.
It'll
Who is
be-
Tom?
I mean, I'm cutting across.
The boardwalk's closed like every day.
So the original plan for the day was to ride down Ocean Parkway to Coney Island, stop, charge, enjoy the sights, have a bite to eat, and then head back up Ocean Parkway right back to Prospect Park where we started. While we were having lunch though, one of the members of the group pointed out there was another way we could get back to Prospect Park that would take us up along the water and underneath the Verrazano Bridge. Might be a little more scenic. Initially it looked like we might break up into two smaller groups where some of us would go back the way we came and the others would take the more scenic route along the water, but eventually we all decided to go the scenic route and all 11 of us headed off down to the water. We had to traverse a few neighborhood streets and some bike lanes before we got to the water, but when you're on a one wheel, it doesn't matter where you are, it's always a good time. So this is a pretty cool shot to me because normally I don't get to see myself riding because I'm the guy holding the camera. But one of the fellas on the ride, Ursel, offered to take the camera for me and get a few shots of me, so that's what I look like cruising down the street. Speaking of Ursel, that's him right there. Talk about style, look at this guy, cruising in camo pants and a blazer, pulled up to the group ride in a Tesla no less. Nice little slow-mo of Earl taking the corner here, and we're just about down to the water at this point. So we finally made it to the water, and boy am I glad that Ursel suggested going back this route. The only thing better than one-wheeling is one-wheeling by the water. And whoa, what is that bicyclist doing? Remember kids, when you're out there you gotta ride safely. Pay attention to your environment and keep your eyes open. Speaking of the environment, is this an amazing place to ride or what? I feel like I'm in a one-wheel commercial right now. I think I'm just gonna sit back and enjoy this for a few minutes here. Check it out, Verrazano Narrows Bridge. Is it even called that anymore? I don't think that's the name of the bridge anymore. It turns out that it is. They've actually renamed a number of the bridges in the New York area where I've grown up over the last few years. This just doesn't happen to be one of them. Verrazano Bridge. This is great. So we got like 11 people rolling with us. We started in Prospect Park in Brooklyn. We rode all the way down to Coney Island. And now we're running up alongside the Belt Parkway here. And running right alongside the water. Heading back up to, half of us are going to Prospect Park, half of us breaking off. Remember Tom from the beginning of this video? He was the first rider that I met in the park. Turns out that he only had about 50 miles on his board before this ride, which means he just about doubled his mileage. We did close to 30 miles on this ride today, and just like any other sport, one-wheeling requires you to learn how to use new muscles that you don't necessarily use all the time, so Tom was a real trooper. I just had to share this incredible view of the New York skyline coming in from this direction. Look at this. Isn't that beautiful? See the Statue of Liberty? One of the truly magical things about the one wheel is that the desire to want to ride it causes you to go out and find new places to ride that you haven't been before. Oftentimes that means seeing places that you've never seen, like Coney Island, or places that you have seen a bunch of times, but you see them in a different light from the one wheel. That's one of the things that I love about it the most. Since getting my one wheel, I've done almost 1,000 miles, mostly with my wife, in New York City, Brooklyn, Queens, Washington, D.C., Florida, Massachusetts, and all around Long Island where we live. I had a great time on this ride, adding to that list with all these folks from the New York City One Wheel Collective. Thanks again to JJ for setting the ride up. Thanks to everyone on the ride for welcoming me into the group. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments. I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching, and keep riding.